Hey, 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 playmates! It's Schoolyard Monday. Of course, you're hanging out with your girl Sagan, and every Schoolyard Monday we like to talk about them kids. So, of course, I got Priya from K1 Britannia in the house. She has a new program that she's going to tell us all about, which I think is pretty amazing. What's going on, Priya?
Hey, Sagan.
And I heard you have a new program, and it's pretty innovative, especially for the island. And I have to say, gutsy and ballsy and bold. And I think actually this is one of these things that can literally solve a long-term problem, which is students and foster kids and kids who get into the juvenile detention situation coming out and reacclimating to society. So tell us a little bit about that.
So, over the last few years, our foundation has worked a lot with those in foster care and then also kids that are on probation, minors specifically. And there's always been the challenge of giving them options so that they don't go back into crime or options so that they can go on and have a productive future. And sadly, it's been a challenge with that on the island. So, from the different experiences that we've had, we've seen that there are specific gaps that have to be filled in order for them to make that transition. So we've put together this course, which is a work training and social development course. It's going to be for 6 months from November to May, and it's going to cover three basic issues. One is the education. So all the kids that go through the course that are able to do it are going to take their GED diploma, so at least they have the basic diploma they can fall back on. Then we're also going to give them focus on their social development, so they'll all do community service at different parts of the island, specifically targeted to develop them socially and to see the need to also give back at the same time. And then lastly, we're going to focus on their employability. So every teenager during the 6 months is going to do 3 different job placements for 2 months each. And we're hoping to mix it up and give them experiences in different fields of work, both to give them an idea of what they'd be interested in as a career, but also to help them to see what it's like to get a job and also keep a job, and how do you deal with the issues that come up in a workplace. So for all of that, we're going to incorporate all of that. We have a job coach that's going to be working with them, and they're going to build a portfolio of their experiences. And we hope that through going through this course, in the end, they would come out prepared to get a job and to have the basics that they need to be able to go on to live an independent and successful life.
It's pretty amazing because when you think about the reasons that people go into crime in adulthood is quite often they were not given the correct or proper tools in their childhood. And here you are intervening in between that step between childhood and adulthood, and actually giving them the tools, which is their education and also assimilation into society and job training. And that's why I think this program is so ballsy and so gutsy and so bold, and it's such a great problem solver, because a lot of people like to complain, oh, they youth them, they ain't doing nothing, they're not behaving, da da da. But they're not realizing that there's an underlying problem with these situations, especially when you see these violent crimes that have been going down recently. You know, criminals aren't born, they're made, but they can also be unmade.
Exactly. I mean, and a lot of people are not aware sometimes of, you read a lot of crimes in the newspaper, but when you actually talk to these young people and you see where they came from, and yes, not all of them made great choices, but then what options do they have available to them to actually make that change? When you hear about 16-year-olds who have already done time in prison, who are now begging to go back to prison because at least it's a safe environment where they get 3 meals a day and they feel safe, then you realize there is a big problem on the island, because why can't that 16-year-old be able to have an opportunity to live a positive life outside of prison?
And the thing is, we take for granted those little lessons that you learn at home, like how to behave properly in a restaurant, how to answer the phone when you're at work, how to write and construct a proper email. If you're missing those little lessons when you're in high school because you've been detained, then when you come out, you don't have those tools that will help push you forward, and you're aware of it, and that ruins your self-esteem, and that keeps you back even further.
And a challenge with a lot of these young people is because we have placed some of them in jobs, and it is very hard for them to keep a job because, for one, they don't have a support system to even know that, how they should dress and how they should present themselves at work, because many of these kids, especially those in the foster care, don't have parents or that kind of support structure. And they, many of them, because of different emotional issues, have a hard time with authority, and they have a hard time handling conflicts in the workplace. So to just give them a job and leave it doesn't often help. So that's why through the 6 months, we're going to work with them through the issues. We're doing workshops at the same time. They're going to have a work coach that'll work with them so that they can, learn to overcome those things to actually be able to have a career.
Now, what can the people do to help this initiative that you have?
Well, there's two ways that we need people to get involved. One is we're looking for employers because we're going to be doing 2-month job placements during this period. It's for the high season, from November to May.
Mm-hmm.
So if as an employer, people are interested in getting involved to give youth an opportunity, it's only for 8 hours a week. It's just a part-time job, but it's just for the experience of it. So we need employers to get on board. And then something else that's very special is, I mean, especially for people on the island who want to play a part in helping youth, whether youth at risk or troubled youth, but don't necessarily have the time to mentor or volunteer, or don't have a way they could necessarily employ a child, is we're looking for, every child needs a sponsor that's going to go through the course. So a large part of this course is going to be government subsidized, and for the remaining part we've broken it down to a cost per child, as there's going to be 21 young people going through the course, 16 from foster care and 5 from probation. So the costs basically cover their GED fees, the tutorials, the exam, the whole thing, and also as far as the wages, the company is paying half and then we're paying half. So it covers that, it covers their transportation, their clothes for work, like all the basics and so basically, as a sponsor, if you get involved and you adopt that child for 8 months, you're actually showing belief in a kid, and it also gives them something to live up to. So every child is going to be matched with a sponsor, so they will be accountable because they'll know, okay, that person believed me, they gave me a chance, I have to live up to it. And every month they'll meet their sponsor, they'll tell them how they're doing, and it gives them more of an accountability, but also that little extra push that someone believes in them and that they have to live up to that. And then also for the sponsor, they get to actually play a role in a child's life or a teenager's life and see them progress and the impact that it has in their life. So those are the two ways that we need people to get involved.
Now, if they want to get involved, like let's say, and what kind of businesses are you looking at? Any kind of business? Any kind. So big business, small business, even if you have an at-home business?
Yep.
Anything at all. So if you have an at-home business, or if you have a restaurant, or if you are working for a larger corporation and you think that your bosses would be interested in employing a student part-time to try and get them more assimilated into the workforce, it's a great thing to do, and it's only 8 hours a week, you said?
Yeah.
So if you are an employee and you want to hire a part-time student to try and help them, give them this push, where should they go?
Well, you can get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us via our website, which is k1britanniafoundation.org. You can also get in touch with us by phone. Our number is 580-7178.
And K1 Britannia is just the letter
It's
K.
number 1, BRITANNIA foundation.org.
And is there more information about this program?
Yes. Well, on the website, you'll see information about all our different programs, and there's a way that you can get in touch with us through that.
And then if you want to sponsor, the sponsorship is not that much, and you said it covers their GED, it covers their clothing, their transportation, and then it covers half of their salary.
Yeah.
And what else? Or something else?
And basically all the other costs associated with the program, like their lunches and stuff like that, and transportation to the university for their exams and for their community service, etc.
And it's
and
only
for their graduation.
8 months, guys. It's only a sponsorship for 8 months, and the fee is not that high. So if you want to sponsor, maybe you don't have time to take on a kid part-time, which I can understand because sometimes at work it gets a little hectic, and when you're training somebody or mentoring somebody, it can get a little tough. So if you can't do that, the way that you can give back is sponsor, and it only takes 8 months. Go to, again, k1britannia.org, k1britanniafoundation.org, and the number one more time?
580-7178.
Listen, bravo to everything you guys are doing. I really, really do like this initiative because I think it's one of the few things that, one of the few efforts that we see on the island that actually seeks out to actively solve a problem, which is what do we do with these kids when they come out of these situations and they're just left with nothing? Well, we give them a little something and we give them a path to go on so that they can lead full and productive lives, which is amazing. Yeah.
And that's the thing, there are a lot of issues on the island, but instead of just, pointing out the problems, each of us have the option to be a part of the solution. And as a foundation, that's what we've always tried to bring to the table, like how can each person contribute in some way to making a difference, and how simple it could be.
Well said. Well said. thank you so much for stopping by. Are there any last words you guys want to leave us with?
Yes, if you, just in case you can't remember our number and our website, you can always get in touch with Sagan, and she will put you in touch. She'll give you our contact information.
Yeah, on my Facebook
Via
page.
the radio or Facebook. Or...
Yes.